Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is match week 4 of the Premier League. A little break there in between for the internationals, and we have returned to do some more predicting and get them all wrong again. So, without any further ado, we'll get into it. First of all, of course, we've got to take a look at last week's scoreline predictions and see how many I got right out of 10. Not last week's, 2 weeks ago's. And see how many I got out of 10. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I'll have any again. It's probably not looking good, Brev. Let's have a look there. Let's have a gander here. So that's week 3, right? So I put Arsenal to Brighton 0. It was 1-1. I put Nottingham Forest 1, Wolves 0. It was 1-1. I put Leicester 1, Aston Villa 2. I got that right. Let's fucking go. I put Ipswich 0, Fulham 1. That was 1-1. I put Brentford 0, Southampton 0. That was evidently wrong, as Brentford won 3-1. Fair play to them. I underestimated them. I put Everton 2, or Everton 0, Bournemouth 2. And it looked as if Everton were going to win 2-0 for long enough. But the eventual scoreline was Everton 2, Bournemouth 3. I put West Ham 1, Manchester City 2. It was 3-1 to Manchester City, so I was close. I put Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 1. It was a 1-1 draw. And I said in that particular video, I was thinking of calling it a draw because Chelsea have this ability to be good one week and then be shit the next. And I should have stuck to my guns on that one. I put Newcastle 2, Spurs 1. It was, I put Newcastle 2, Spurs 2. It was Newcastle 2, Spurs 1. I was a goal off there. I don't want to try and credit a correct scoreline when I didn't get it. And I tried to be nice with us. I tried to be reasonable with Manchester United's scoreline. I put Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. And it was not that. It was Manchester United 0, Liverpool 3. So, not a great week, but I did get one spot on. Sat at 30 score lines. I've got 2 spot on. I'm not going to keep counting that the whole way through because I will forget, but you know, it's not awful. We're only, for most of them as well, we're only like a goal off. It's not like we're miles off with the prediction. We're like a goal off, and it's, you know, it could go either way really sometimes. Only one I was way off with is the Liverpool one, I think, because we did score and they scored 3. So it's, yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, we head now into week 4 with the, of course, Manchester United game being put on in the background because I support Manchester United. Yes, I know. I hate myself too. It is a hard time to be a Man United fan, but trust the process and all that, or something along those lines, and let's see where we get to. So, without further ado, then we have the World Class AI. They're going to battle it out, and we're going to get into this. I don't think there's anything I forgot to do. I don't think it'll brand this as a Premier League match either, because Southampton are in the Championship on this game, aren't they? So I don't think it'll actually brand it as a Premier League game. It's an interesting one. It's the first one that's had to have done that. Yeah, just as friendly. It doesn't say Premier League, which interesting, I suppose. But also for the next game comes out in like 2 or 3 weeks, so it'll be fixed by then. That's all that really matters. But anyway, you can see the lineups at the bottom. I've tried to update them as they are to real life. I've also tried to take injuries into account. Whether I've done that successfully, we'll figure it out. I've just put whatever injuries it's in on Google, and hopefully they're correct. Dallo searching at the back post. Sugawara clears it, and Dallo's running away from the ball. Xerxes keeps it alive. We'll see what happens to this attack, and then we'll start reading my predictions out. Fernandez balloons it over. Right. So this is the early kickoff tomorrow. Southampton hosting Manchester United at St Mary's. Now, Southampton haven't got a point on the board yet, I don't believe. Manchester United have only got 1 win out of their first 3, which is embarrassing. Liverpool I expected to lose. Brighton you'd have hoped we'd done a bit better and not lost in the last minute. And Fulham you expected us to walk over them really, but that didn't happen either. Ugarte is meant to be included tomorrow. He's set to make his debut. I don't know if he's going to debut in the starting 11 or if he's going to come off the bench, but he's meant to be involved in some capacity. So I'm hoping that means he will have some kind of profound effect on that midfield area that we desperately needed. Admittedly, I don't know how good Ugarte is. I don't watch PSG at all really last season. I didn't really ever need to. But I'm not going to put everything on him. I'm going to try and hope that my team can beat a newly promoted side. But as you can see here, Brereton Diaz plays into Armstrong. Delict closes it down. Thank God for that. Mazraoui can get it away. It's an offside. I'm just hoping there's nothing in real life where I have to worry too much, because we do have Andre Onana in between the sticks, and he is a constant worry. But I'm going to predict 3 points for the boys in red. Well, they're not in red in this one. They're in the third kit because the other kits clash. But for Manchester United, I'm predicting a win. And I might sound stupid here, but you'd expect one of the biggest teams in England. I know we're not anymore. I kind of hang on to that, I hope, more than anything else now. But you expect one of the top 6, the big 6 clubs, to beat one of the newly promoted clubs, no matter how much money is spent. And I'm going to go, because Ramsdale may or may not make his debut. I'm not sure what he's going to do. Yeah, I put him in the sticks for Southampton. He might have already made his debut, I don't know. But ultimately, I'm going to say 2-0 to Manchester United. I don't think Southampton actually score past us. And I think we have enough to win against Southampton. I'm telling you right now, if we drop points against Southampton, that man right there, Erik ten Hag, will be on the watch list for potentially getting sacked. Following that, then, Liverpool host Nottingham Forest at Anfield. They just come off a win, of course, 3-0 against us. I think Forest drew their game, if I remember correctly. You've got to be kidding me. Southampton have put it back into the net. Into the back of the net, I should say. But Armstrong is ruled offside. Thank fuck. Manchester United, what are you doing to me? They're playing in-game like they do in real life. Anyway, Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest up next on the discussing block. And it's going to be hard to point to anything other than a Liverpool win. In good form, with the new manager, they seem to just be cooking the same way they did on the clock. There doesn't really seem to be much change other than the manager. The tactics are the same. The results are the same. Cornet nearly puts it past Onana. But it is going to be a comfortable win. I'm going to say a 3-1 win for Liverpool. I hate to admit it, but they're probably title contenders this year. And yeah, another comfortable win, I think, for the Merseyside men. 3-1 is what I'm going to say. I think they'll leak a silly goal somewhere, but I think they'll have more than enough to dispatch of Nottingham Forest without the real issue. Up next then is Manchester City hosting Brentford. For Manchester City, I obviously don't like them with good reason, and they're just too good. I don't see them losing. There was a story, I don't want to bring too much attention to it if it's not true, but there was a story that Haaland might get dropped. I'm not going to disclose the reason, because it's a personal reason. If you want to find out why, go look for it, I suppose. But Haaland may or may not be playing tomorrow. That I don't know how much that will impact Manchester City, especially without having another striker to call upon. It might be that Brentford get a shock point, but I'm basing this purely on the fact, this result is purely on the fact that Haaland will not play tomorrow. I'm going to say, and this is going to sound stupid, but if Haaland doesn't play tomorrow, it's a smart one. If Haaland does play tomorrow, then disregard this result, but I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. Now, that is absolutely silly, you must be thinking. City have got so much quality, and they do, but they don't have a striker if Haaland doesn't play. And with Brentford, they seem to have adapted to life without Tony already. Like, Shada, Buemo, Vissa, that looks like a devastating front three, to be honest with you. And I just don't see... I mean, I can't say I just don't see Man City winning without Haaland, because they probably will win without Haaland anyway, but I'm just going, a bit rogue here and saying, like, if I say 1-1 and it ends up being 1-1 without Haaland playing, I'm going to look really smart. So I'm going to say it, and I'm going to stick to it, and hopefully I don't look like an idiot. If Haaland does play, I'm going to say Man City win, but it really depends on how that goes. If Haaland does play, I'll say 3-1 City. If he doesn't play, I'm saying a 1-1 draw. That's how much of an impact that cyborg has on this Manchester City team. So following that, it is Fulham hosting West Ham at Craven Cottage. Both teams doing pretty well to start the season. Fulham struggled a little bit, but they've got points. Well, I think they've got a point actually. With West Ham, they're struggling as well, but they've had some big teams to face early on this season with their new signings. They had to play Aston Villa. They're about to play Man City. This might be a slightly easier test for them, and with the new signings and the quality that West Ham possess, I don't see anything other than a West Ham win. I'm going to say a 1-0. I don't think it's going to be goal-filled. I think it's going to be scrappy. I think it's going to be close. But I think West Ham will show just enough to get over the line. And yeah, a 1-0 victory at Craven Cottage is what I'm saying for the Hammers. And to close out this result, these results for the first half, to do 5 in each half to balance it out, Crystal Palace will host Leicester City at Selhurst Park. And with Palace, it's been difficult. It's difficult to pick because they get a point against Chelsea, but then they lose against Brentford, I think it was, that they lost to. And it's hard to choose because you think under the new manager, Bruno Fernandes, brilliant goal, mate, thank you. Some faith still in this team. But anyway, yes, Crystal Palace, Leicester City. Crystal Palace, again, like I said before I got interrupted by Bruno putting his face in the camera. Yeah, difficult to pick this one because they just don't seem to have the consistency just yet. I'm not saying they won't get it. They probably will get it at some point. It's just with Elise gone, they're adjusting. They haven't adjusted. They're adjusting. Good to see a goal as well from Mateta, who was banging him in at the end of last season. It's going to be a difficult day, and I reckon it'll be another point apiece here. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Crystal Palace, they just don't seem to have completely adjusted yet, and with Leicester, they're taking points off of teams, and I think they're going to continue to do that with this one. It's going to be a 1-1 draw in my opinion. I think that's probably the safest result to say. But it's one of most, what's the word, most confident in. I'll come back to this next week. It'll be a 4-0 Palace win, and I'll be like, what the fuck did I think? Is Cobby onside? Sorry, you got to look at this. I know we've just done but we've caught up with them now. We've done the first half of the results. So I'm just kind of looking at simulation. How the fuck is Cobby Mainu onside there for the Bruno Fernandes cross? Like, that shouldn't be onside in the slightest. What are the Southampton defence doing? Let's have a gander here. Oh, there's a Southampton player literally off the pitch. That would explain that. He is dead ass, just not on the pitch. Mainu has got the easiest goal of what is his career probably. He's not going to get an easier goal than that. Granted, it's in the game, so it won't matter at all in real life. But that you're not going to get an easier goal than what Cobby Mainoo's just put in the back of the net there. Southampton literally had a man off the pitch, so everyone was onside if they wanted to be. A 2-0 lead for Manchester United. I think I predicted 2-0, didn't I? I haven't written these down. I'm going to write these down while the half ends, actually, because my brain just hasn't written these down. Have we scored again? Bruno again? Respect, bruv. What did I say for Liverpool Forest? 3-1, wasn't it? I was wondering what I was forgetting to do. It was forgetting to actually write the bloody things down on my notes. Right. Man City, Brentford. Oh, my thing has stopped itself. Because I didn't interact with my controller. I'm going to put 1-1 because I don't think they'll have Haaland. That's more hoping they don't have Haaland. Fulham, West Ham. I said 1-0 West Ham, didn't I? And then whatever the Leicester game was, Palace and Leicester. So 1-1. Right, we caught up. We're nearly at half time, but Southampton have one more chance here. Close the half to Lallana, it's blocked. It's going to come to Lallana again, it's blocked again by Martinez. Armstrong tries to keep it alive, but that will be half time. Good half for Manchester United. This is exactly what we need. Can we have one of them in real life? Like, I don't want to ask too much or anything, but it would be nice to have one of those in real life where we look like a football team rather than not a football team, I guess. I don't really know how to explain. But anyway, basically, I'd like us to look good on the football pitch, and we haven't done much of that this year yet. And long may it change after this game. I'm kind of willing this one into existence. Who's doing the best then? Bruno's on a 10. He's been involved in every goal. Ugarte's got 2 assists on his debut. But take a look at the match how it's ended as we head into half time. 57-43 in terms of possession in favour of Manchester United. 9-7 in favour of Southampton. But when you look at the accuracy, it's abysmal, really. And 2.6 expected goals to 1.7 in favour of the Red Devils. 9 shots, 11%. That's only 1 shot on target. You can understand why Southampton haven't found their way back into this match yet. Maybe they will second half. Anything's possible, especially when you're Manchester United. Right, into the second half. It's closed my app. Not my app, but fucking Premier League. Oh, shit. Oh, there we go, found it. Right, okay. It closed where I was looking at there. Oh! What is Ramsdale doing? No, what is Ramsdale doing? I'm just about to continue. I look up at my screen, and Ramsdale is in no man's land. Joshua Zirkzee has added number 4 onto... I mean, he's not even tried. Ramsdale could get a hand to that if he wanted. Mate, no wonder Arsenal sold him. Are you joking? What the fuck sort of goalkeeping is that? Right, anyway, back to business, which is predicting scorelines. Brighton hosting Ipswich at the Amex. It is an interesting one, in my opinion, because Brighton have had a good start to the season, but Ipswich haven't really laid down for anybody. I mean, they've had difficult games. They had Liverpool, they had Man City, evidently, and obviously lost to both of them. Then they took points off of their last opponents, and I'm going to scroll up quickly to see who they were, because I forgot who they were. Fulham. I reckon they have the potential, I'm not going to say they're going to do it, but they have the potential to take points away from Brighton. That being said, if they do it and we couldn't, I'll be very annoyed. So I'm gonna go for Brighton win. I don't think Ipswich have enough in the tag. I'm gonna say 2-0. There is a possibility that it could happen. I just don't think it will happen. I think Brighton will have enough class and composure to take down Ipswich. I don't see why Brighton wouldn't win. They're in a good run of form. They've got good players right now cooking for them. Admittedly, cooking against us, which is slightly annoying, but you got to do what you got to do, I suppose. And I just don't see any. I don't see any issue too much in Brighton tomorrow. Up next, then, it is Aston Villa versus Everton. Now, this, I know I said that the other one that was a 1-1 draw might be the easiest one to predict of the weekend. I think this is the easiest to predict in terms of victory. Everton, what do you say about Everton? They were 2-0 up against Bournemouth on the 87th minute, and then by the end of the game they'd lost 3-2. That is a bottle of huge, just huge proportions. And if Everton don't fix up, they're going to go down. And with this one, Aston Villa, it should be a simple win. I'm going to say that they struggle a little bit. Everton put in a bit of fight. 2-1 I've gone for. Because, I mean, they've still got Pickford in between the sticks. He's probably their only saving grace right now for Everton. And Aston Villa, Watkins hasn't really started off yet. Might have a knock, I believe I saw someone say. And it's just, there's going to be little things that really demote Aston Villa in this match rather than promote Everton. And I think there's going to be a bit of a fight, but I think Aston Villa should still have enough to come out of it. For the next one then, Bournemouth versus Chelsea. This is a difficult one again because Bournemouth, no Solanke, doesn't seem to be a problem just yet. As for Chelsea, you don't know what they're going to do. That's a brilliant save from Ramsdale, by the way it deflected into the path of Bruno, and Ramsdale's managed to pull it off. I know he's conceded 4 this game, but that's a phenomenal save. But Bournemouth and Chelsea, two teams you can't really predict. And that's why I'm going to plump for a draw. I'm going to say 2-2. Instead of 1-1, like I said, was planning to say. I think I actually was planning to say 2-2 last week between Chelsea and Palace. I went 2-1 Chelsea. It was 1-1 in the end. I'm bringing off Manu for Casemiro. Any other situation, I'd be fucking pissed off. But it's a 4-0 lead, so I don't think there's really any issue there. Bournemouth, Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 2. I just think there's going to be another point apiece. Bournemouth are good enough to hold Chelsea, I think. And Chelsea aren't really, good enough to keep the form up. I don't really know with Chelsea because they've beaten Wolves 6-2 and then they drew at Palace 1-1 and it's hard to, you know, kind of figure out what they're going to do. Bruno almost bags his hat-trick. Right. North London Derby. It's going to be hosted at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And it is, of course, Tottenham versus Arsenal, the first big derby of the season. You might argue that was last week, Manchester United and Liverpool. And if it was about 10 years ago, I'd agree with you. But it's not a derby, it's so much as a training exercise now for Liverpool. This is where it might actually be a derby. Arsenal don't have Ødegaard, they don't have Marino. They've been struggling a little bit with form as well. No Declan Rice, he's suspended. They drew to Brighton. It's just, I don't know which way this is going to go. Because this is the most vulnerable we've seen Arsenal in just over 2 seasons. And Spurs don't look good either. So it's like, I mean, I can't say Spurs don't look good. They've got more points than us. But my point is they've lost to Newcastle. And I don't really know what their injury situation is. But they've not really settled Solanke in just yet. So I'm going to say another draw. I don't see either of the teams coming out of 3 points. Because Arsenal have their injuries. They have their suspensions. They have woes all over the place at the moment. Whereas Spurs are Spurs. They just can't seem to finish off a game. And the only team beaten this season is Everton. I think anyone can beat Everton. They lost to Newcastle. They drew with Leicester on the opening day. It's not looking good, Brev. Either way, I'm going to say a point apiece. I think that's the fairest I can be. Neither team deserves it. Neither team will get it, I think. And the final game then, as we come to a close on the simulation as well, about 83 minutes in. Wolves versus Newcastle. Now, you would think that this should be a run-of-the-mill victory for Newcastle. They just come off a win against Spurs. Wolves, I can't remember what they did last week, but they had lost 6-2 to Chelsea, which is not what you want to do in any week. It should be a win for Newcastle, but of course Newcastle injuries still cropping up. They don't have everyone they want in their team, like they haven't signed all the players they would have liked to, kind of thing. And I think they will still win. I think it's not going to be a 6-2. Wolves still have some quality, but I think Newcastle will edge out the victory. I'm going to say 2-1 to the Tyneside team. They did just beat Spurs, which I'm taking into account as well, but also it just seems to be, for Newcastle, things that always seem to go right. And I'm saying that as a Man United fan, but in terms of injuries, in terms of suspensions, in terms of choices, it's like, I mean, they might struggle. And in terms of Eddie Howe, he might get found out. Newcastle have not spent the money that they wanted to spend in the window. They didn't get another centre-back. I don't think they got a winger. They wanted a right winger, I believe. They got Minte, didn't they? No, Minte was who left them to Brighton. But they didn't get a winger in. They didn't get another centre-back option in. Botman, I don't think he's still fully fit. That's why I'm like, what do we do in Newcastle? But I think they will beat Wolves. I think it'll be close, but I think they are able to beat Wolves. And that's going to be the last chance for Southampton as well in this game. Adam Armstrong blazing it over the crossbar. Man United keep the clean sheet and winning 4-0. That's the dream. The reality is, it's a 1-1 draw where we lead for 90% of the game. Onana makes a late mistake and we concede. But in all seriousness, I think we will win, and I hope we will. I say I think we will. I hope we will win. And in the simulation, we've put on a masterclass. Can we do it in real life? We'll find out tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up the simulation in the background. That'll wrap up the results. I will read them out again at the end. Ramsdale having a poor showing. Made a couple of good saves, but when you concede 4, they don't always get remembered. Clean sheet for Onana, which is something you don't expect to say often, but he did make it. El Clino Sheeto. But anyway, that is victory on the simulation. Let's try and manifest this. Bruno Brace, Mainu and Xerxes with the goals. All came within about 10 minutes of each other, I believe, as well. They were quite close together. 4-0 victory. and dub season for Manchester United. But anyway, to close out this week's video then, first of all we'll take a look at, not the performance, that's the wrong page, although Bruno did get a 10, just get a little flex there. Match facts is what I want to look at. So 55 to 45 in terms of possession, 12 shots to 11, 3.9 expected goals to 2.0. Once again, Southampton only landing the one shot on target means that they are not able to find a response to Manchester United. 3 off target, 7 blocked. We had 8 on target, 1 off target, and 3 blocked. Shot accuracy was a lot better for Manchester United, and it shows in the scoreline. So, to recap what I'm thinking this week, then I might be wrong on a lot of these, and I've gone with the Man City result where Haaland isn't playing. If he is playing, then it is what it is. So Southampton 0, Manchester United 2, Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 1, Brentford 1, Fulham 0, West Ham 1, Crystal Palace 1, Leicester 1, Brighton 2, Ipswich 0, Aston Villa 2, Everton 1, Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 2, Tottenham 1, Arsenal 1, and Wolves 1, Newcastle 2. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up match week 4. Hopefully soon we can go on to FC25, so I don't have to switch all the teams up, and we can just go with the teams as they are now. When that comes out, of course, I will be getting it, and we will be diving in to the match week predictions. And on the release day, if I can, there will be a career mode episode. I'm not saying which team, but you can probably guess. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up match week 4 predictions. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Take care, enjoy your weekend, and hopefully your team wins for you. Unless you're a Southampton fan, I'm sorry, I'm not on your team this week. Take care, and peace.